spent my first 15 years trying to get out of the woods because I thought it was horrible. And I spent the next 20 years trying to get back. The truth of the matter is we need to be well-rounded individuals like our forefathers were.
And hello, all you beautiful people out there in YouTube/Facebook land. I'm your host, Big T with Mountain Readiness, coming at you live here again, another Monday from the hills of Appalachia. And of course, directly below me is good friend and co-host. This guy here, of course, he is a gear guy, and he has to pack a lot of gear around. One of those being a defibrillator, because he stops so many women's hearts everywhere he goes. And it's, of course, Mr. Joe.
Jesus.
I have to do this every time.
Lord,
I have to do this every time.
Yeah, I know.
But in all honesty, we actually have a very attractive guest right next to me, which is Maureen Diaz from God's Good Table and the Weston A. Price Foundation. Maureen, welcome to this debauchery.
Thank you. It's really a pleasure to be on, and I expect to have a few laughs in amidst the serious conversation.
Yes, that's good to hear. So, everybody, the usual thing: like, share, subscribe, hit the button, ring bells, make the algorithm gods happy with us, so that they will shine favoritism upon us and actually get some of this out to you people, and not hide us in the corner somewhere. So it always helps. Throw a comment in there and share with a friend, share with a friend's friend, whatever you can do to help us out. And if anything else, just be like, your jokes are super lame, man. Just quit doing it. Whatever. Throw that in the comments. I like it. Constructive criticism is what we'll call it. So make sure also to remember that we have a lot of stuff coming up. Now, I'll go right to it, because I hate to say it, guys, but we had to cancel the Protecting the Homestead event. We had a few things go on that was out of our control. We had to shut it down. I hate to pull the plug on something. Everyone's money has been refunded, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We'll try it again at another time. Thank you, Bidenomics. That's another major factor in this whole thing. But we do have a few classes coming up still, and yet make sure, guys, check out. I've got a fly. Where did a fly? Just one fly out of nowhere. Make sure to check out Joe Wetsy course coming up right around the corner. Actually, that's just a few weeks out. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time. 3 days of no sleep and hard training. That's what it's about.
I got plans for you.
That's good. And like I said, out of 1 to 10, I'll take a 12. So, also all of our sponsors. No, 14 it is. So, and make sure, guys, all of our sponsors that are attached to the bio, we've got Harvest Right, we've got Redmond Salt, we've got Survival Gear BSO for all of your awesome survival needs, our good friend Brian. Speaking of, we will have Brian and a couple other interesting guests next Monday. Guys, put it on your calendar. We're all going to be back, and we actually have 2 gentlemen, not one, but 2 gentlemen that were there at the rally in Pennsylvania. One of them right front, dead center. A lot of the pictures that you're seeing on the social media and the internet right now came from this gentleman's phone. It's going to be awesome for all of us to sit down and talk about this. And we will talk a little bit about this to just at the first part before we delve into some health and talking about Maureen and everything that she's done. Remember, too, guys, Harvest Right. Everybody that we put on here for sponsors is for a reason, because we actually use their products. Game changer. We just bought our second freeze dryer, and we got the big one this time that does the 60. You can do 60 pounds. So to be not the commercial, but right underneath it. Man, guys, game changer. You have a freeze dryer, don't you? Don't you, Maureen?
No, I do not. I've considered it. I haven't ruled it out. It takes up a lot of real estate, and
That's true.
And a big chunk.
That is true.
So I have not invested yet, but I
tell you, it is great. We love these things, and the reason is, guys, it's not just about making. Look, I'm not. You can buy them from straight. You don't have to use our affiliate link. Get yourself one of these. This is a game changer. You know, everybody talks about survival being MREs. Oh, I've got 20 cases MREs. You're gonna die. You're gonna die from.
Which are
you're
awful.
gonna struggle from the sodium. All right, canned goods. You see everybody lining. Even canning will get you as time progresses, and the shelf life. 30 years with freeze-dried food. It can set. Here's another great point that I thought of, and packing it around in my go bag, is this stuff literally weighs nothing. So if you've got a hoof shoe leather, right, I'm not going to grab a whole bunch of canned goods and throw them in my pack. No, it weighs a ton. That, you know, a dozen of eggs, I mean, is ounces after you pull it out of a freeze dryer. And you rehydrate that thing and you're ready to go again. I mean, it's awesome for if you've got to hit the road, and it tastes like it just come out the chicken. I mean, it's great. It's great. So get you guys a freeze dryer. Harvest Right so far is the best one. They've been really good to us, and you can get yourself a percentage off, a discount, if you go and use our affiliate link. Let's jump into it, guys. So we've got a lot of people in here. We got Christy. We've got let's see, Ray Michaels. We've got Will, Justin Stevens, guys. Of course, Carrie. We've got a lot of people over here in the comments, guys. Appreciate you coming out. And Christy Renee, yes. Maureen will be at Fallout. She will be teaching. I think we're going to do. We're talking about some herbal tinctures. And I really would like to do that pemmican thing. Can we squeeze the pemmican in?
Yeah, I think that's really important. Yeah, when we're talking about survival foods, and not just survival foods, but some of the best foods period, pemmican is at the top of my list. Yeah,
100%.
For food value, nutritional value, and all of that. Yep.
And we'll talk a little bit about that here as we move along in the show. Hey, there's Emily. I don't know why I clicked on that. Emily, hi. Good to see you again. Glad you can make it through your busy work schedule. Trump. Joe, you are the expert when it comes to, I mean, there's been a lot of crazy stuff unfolding. I was just talking to Brian, and he said a guy was talking to him about the security detail. Of course, I've been told that the detail was severely cut to minimal nothing from what it should have been, and that it usually is supposed to be 6 layers, 6 rings of security, and they were actually 2.
Right.
That's insane. That's insane. I'm not going to preach fear-mongering, guys, but at the same time, I'm tired of hearing about, oh, you're a fear-monger. This is one of the most important people in politics, and just a little twitch, you know, was the only difference between his ear getting clipped and getting popped in the melon. You know, what a crazy world. So if there's anything that you should be doing, guys, it's to be prepared. It can happen to anybody. But what have you been hearing on this stuff, Joe?
Well, as we all know, you got to let the dust settle first, right? There's a lot of information, misinformation out there, who this guy was connected to and all this stuff. And it's all hyperbole until an investigation is done. But as far as what happened, obviously I wasn't there, but I did a Google Earth view of the area, and it was basically a farm with a cluster of buildings to Mr. Trump's right, about the size of a Walmart, and they're in a parking lot. So that was the only area, not like there were buildings everywhere, that they needed to concentrate sniper support on. So what blows me away is, I'm not going to talk about the sniper shot. No, why did he wait and stuff? Guys, look, these guys are scanning. They see something and not quite sure. The guy pops his head up. Does he have a gun? I don't know. Oh, there's a gun. Shot. Like, it takes time to take a shot like that, right? So it was a great shot. From what I saw, I hit him in the back, in the ear, behind the ear, and came out here. That's an instant incapacitation shot. But I guess my whole thing is, how does a dude climb on top of a building, a white building, in the middle of the day when there's people like taking pictures of him, and not a single, you have to understand that outer layer, from what I understand, were law enforcement. It wasn't Secret Service. It was law enforcement officials, right? I don't understand how a cop did not, and I've watched the videos of the guy with the beard going, hey, look, there's a dude up here, and the police officer's like, whatever, like, blew him off. And that to me is very sketchy. Like, I don't know, and why they didn't have a drone in the air. If you had one little area, why didn't you just have a drone flying over that? That does the work of 20 people. Didn't even have a drone in the air. Like, there's a lot
100%.
Let me tell you, they're gonna rewrite some security stuff after this. I can guarantee you. They're gonna be like, all right, we made some major mistakes. But
yeah, or it'd be just the opposite. He'll get even less the next detail because it didn't succeed. So, what's weird too is number one, no drone support, which in this day and age is just unheard of, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And two, did you see the guy was up there on a metal roof in shorts and crawling? I mean, just being in shorts alone, that would be horrible on that metal roof. But yeah, there was like 3 minutes. People were pointing, hey, look, we were sharing some videos early of this. And it's like, what a sad day when that's the type of security that Donald J.
I can almost guarantee you he came in from a back parking lot, because I Google Earthed it, and there's no way you could have walked up the street, got on that building. There's a parking lot behind the building and a narrow alleyway between the buildings. I can almost guarantee you he parked his car back there, walked up the alleyway, found a ladder well, got up on the roof. But still, a drone or a couple police officers back there, the guy had a rifle. I mean, give me a freaking break, man. It's just, I don't know. I'm not talking conspiracy theories or nothing, just bad business. Bad, really bad.
Exactly. Yeah. And at the end, when it's all said and done, this is, to me, this is the prime scenario to bring up that if it can happen to him, it can happen to any of us. So, I mean, this guy, this is the 45th president. So, and this is what happens. That's how he gets treated. Detail cut short. I mean, that was a train wreck. That was a train wreck, is what that ended up. And
it'll all come out. It'll all come out. I guarantee they're going to show emails and everything. Like, hey, here's the email that we asked for 20 more guys denied. But I even told you, Bob, we had this conversation. Somebody's going to try to kill this guy before the election. Did I not? Boom. And it ain't over. Like, if this guy does any more public speaking, if I was on a security detail, he'd be behind bulletproof glass. Like, there's no way I would put my public now without protection. No way.
Agreed. But guys, just like we had said earlier, we are going to delve a little bit more into this, a lot deeper. Have these guys that were on the ground. The one guy, I mean, literally the pictures, if you pull them up, the most popular pictures of Trump as he's being pulled off the stage, that came from this guy's phone, right, that you're seeing on the internet right now. So we're going to have him right here next Monday, 8 o'clock along with Michael, who works with Brian with Survival Gear BSO, who was also there. He was off to the side of the crowd. So we have two people, 2 points of perspective of people right there while this was all unfolding. Should be a good. I think it's going to be a great live stream. And by then, I'm sure this week we're going to hear a whole lot more stuff unfold. It's just the nature of the beast, sure. I would say. So, but without further ado, guys, Maureen Diaz of God's Good Table, Weston A. Price Foundation, thank you for joining us. And mother of 9 children. So, guys, I mean, that's a lot of kids, and you had to be self-sufficient in order to
my
feed all
proudest
those
roles are wife and mother.
Absolutely. So tell us about yourself a little bit, God's Good Table, what it's about, the Weston A. Price Foundation. I didn't put any links up for you either. We need to let everybody know what those are as well, because I'm a horrible host.
Yeah, and the 2 main ones are godsgoodtable.com.
Awesome.
WESTON. Yeah, we're fading in and out sometimes, and I have 2 dogs that are kind of rustling in the background. So let me know if they get too loud, and I'll boot them out.
Well,
if I boot them out,
that's
they'll be scratching at the door, and so they'll still be obnoxious. So a little bit about myself. We took in this rescue dog. Excuse me. I took in this rescue dog last month, and it's like he's nothing but trouble. So, and right. Now the other one making noise. Hold on just a second. Let me move the other one.
And now and by the way, she's trying to pawn them off on me, is what I was just told, because I need another puppy.
Just hold on to the original dog who's barking at the other dog. It'll at least be quiet. Anyway, just in a nutshell, I witnessed my mother's innumerable health problems dissipate when I was a kid, when she changed her diet I was brought up on highly processed foods. And so that's what she was eating too. She changed to a much more whole natural diet, lost her asthma, her allergies, her diabetes or borderline diabetes. It was just a bunch of problems. And that made a huge impression on me. So as a young mom and wife, I just intuitively understood that food was important, and that I needed to seek the best food quality for my kids, for my family, and for myself. And that led me down many years, many paths, until I finally found the work of the late Dr. Weston A. Price. That studying and researching and practicing has been my passion for years. I knew that the only way that I was going to be able to stay home and provide good food for my family was if we basically homesteaded, which wasn't a thing now nearly 40 years ago. And there weren't books, and there wasn't the internet, and there wasn't Joel Salatin and Justin Rhodes. So I figured it out, made a lot of mistakes, and learned along the way, like we all need to do. At any rate, as a Christian woman, it really bothered me that people in my church and other churches were just getting sicker and sicker and completely oblivious to instruction, biblical instruction about what foods we should eat, how they should be grown, how they should be prepared, how should we be getting well when there's illness, what do we need for producing healthy babies. And you know what? I realized it's all about just going to the original foods that were planned for us. And so anyway, God's Good Table came out of that because out of my frustration. So yeah, I continue to study. My daughter Erin is my business partner. She's pursuing licensure through Nutritional Therapy Association. I'll be going into root cause protocol and probably GAPS protocol as well. But we're just trying to reach people with the truth. And may I say that my son, who just moved in, took my charging cord. He did. He took my cord.
before it's gone.
My cord's gone. Yep.
Well, you only have to make it 40 more minutes.
I am going to take my laptop with the red low battery signal glaring in my face, and I'm going to go downstairs so we can keep on talking and
It's like a tour of your home at the same time.
which is very messy right now. So not a
That's
great
okay.
time to go to
Yeah, very cool.
It is a cool house. We got an atrium there with a swimming pool, and it's a neat house.
Oh yeah, no, yeah,
it's
that's very
really
cool.
So we're gonna go into
Guys,
the other part.
Maureen's husband also is like one of the best woodworking trim craftsmen I've ever seen. Like, check out, get on there on social media. She's got pictures posted like that, next level. This stuff looked like it came out of the Biltmore estate or something.
This kind of work that he is known for, the stuff that you find in House Beautiful. You find it in the finest homes.
Oh yeah.
But you know, wait, this is not where my charging cord is. That's not going to help me.
That's all right. Like I said, this is we just wing it here. It's not a big deal at all.
We are definitely winging it right now. But in just one moment, I will not have to worry anymore about running out of juice. So
Perfect.
I just don't want you to see my piles of dirty dishes because I've been gone all day and all weekend. Okay, there we go. All right, this will work.
Awesome. Back in business.
Yep, we're in good shape now. It's just a little dark.
So how did you get into the Weston A. Price Foundation, and what is that? So everybody knows what that is about.
So I'll give you the 2-minute speech about Dr. Price. Dr. Price was a dentist from Cincinnati who 100 years ago in his practice recognized that his patients' oral health declining corresponded to the declining physical bodily health. And he realized that had to have something to do with a changing food supply. And so living at a time where world travel was for the first time really possible, and we had photography, he took his camera, he took his wife, he hopped on boats, and he went to every habitable continent around the world seeking indigenous cultures to study their physical and oral health and the foods that they were eating. And what he found was that everywhere he went, whether it be all over Africa, Australia, he started in Switzerland in the Lokenstol Valley. He went to Florida. He went to Alaska. He went to South America. These people that he found, they had beautiful teeth. I should have brought some pictures up for that, but they had beautiful straight teeth, wide palates. They had beautiful bone structure. They did not have fertility or birthing problems. They were resistant and resilient from disease. Not that they never got sick, but they were usually able to recover from anything quickly using natural medicine like herbs and food. But they had near perfect health. And the common denominators were always animal foods. No matter where he was he wanted to find people who were just existing off of plant-based foods. He didn't find that anywhere. Neither did Michael Pollan or C. Campbell. What is his name? C. Colin Campbell. They didn't find any cultures that only eat vegetables either. Right. Traditional cultures around the world have always relied on animal foods for their health. They incorporate varying levels of plant-based foods as well. But every culture knew they had to have animal foods and that they needed to have them on a regular basis. And I'm not talking a hamburger or a steak, but bone broth, the saturated fat from the body's core. The organ meats were revered. So these things were important. Even one of the tribes in Africa who had a smaller stature, but wonderful health, they ate a lot of bugs and rodents and small deer and that kind of thing, and more vegetables than the most. But the Maasai, they were 7 feet tall and they ate mostly animal foods. So he also did some archaeological study as well and just found the same thing. People, even in Peru, where he looked into the graves and at the skeletons of people who had had battles, and they had, some of them had, punctured skulls and that kind of thing. He found that there was skeletal evidence of robust health, ability to heal from wounds and from illness, and they all ate animal foods. So we try to take that information, get it out there, continue to learn more, analyze, research. For instance, cholesterol does not give you heart disease. It doesn't kill you. It doesn't cause strokes. It's there for a reason, and every cell in our body needs it. Our brain is made up of, I forget, something like 80% cholesterol, something like that. We need saturated fat and cholesterol to be healthy, to think straight, to resist disease, to heal from disease. And all of that other stuff is just bunk. It's lies and distortions. So we as a foundation try to connect farmers with consumers, farmers and producers who are producing the foods that we really need, that our bodies are crying for, and then we make those connections. So that's the Weston A. Price Foundation. I've been a chapter leader and involved with them for about 22 years maybe, and I've been working for them, I don't remember for how long now.
That's all right.
Yeah, a long time.
A long time.
Yeah.
Well,
So I'm passionate.
what was guys, check out Weston A. Price Foundation. Google that and look through. There is pictures on there of these indigenous tribes people, and their teeth. Like, I got crooked bottom teeth. These people's teeth, I kid you not, and they're living in the middle of nowhere, of jungles and stuff. There
No
no overbite,
no dentists,
no dentist, anything. These people's teeth look like a Colgate commercial, right? Not that I would use Colgate, because I don't use regular toothpaste anymore because of all the horrible chemicals in it.
Yeah.
But no kidding. I mean, because they're not exposed to all the toxic garbage that is in the foods that we currently consume here in the United States. It had that much effect on their teeth, down to the structure of their jaw.
It comes from the inside out. It's not about having toxic fluoride on the surface. Their teeth and their skeletal structure and their entire physical structure, ours as well, is built from the inside out. So he also found that when people would start replacing their traditional foods with what he called the foods of modern commerce, which consisted of things like canned foods, jams and jellies, white flour and sugar, they quickly began to show signs of degeneration. And then as they had offspring, we started to see a lot of problems. His seminal work is Nutrition and Physical Degeneration. I read it years ago. I think I need to read it again. Fantastic, interesting book. But it all just highlights our very serious need for nutrients. I'd say a stupid thing. Why do you eat? Do you eat to fill your belly? Do you eat because you're hungry, or do you eat because we're designed to eat? We need to eat to put nutrients in, to constantly maintain, rebuild, and in fact, even build new bodies every day, every month, every minute. Yeah.
And here's, there is the saying, he who has the gold makes the rule. It's the golden rule. But in actuality, that's not quite accurate, because I think we are coming to a point in this world that the gold is food. He who has control of the food controls the populace. And that's what we're currently seeing, I think.
Yeah. That is what we're seeing. And I actually had that written down because I wanted to bring up that quote. It's very important. So when we're talking about being prepared for anything to come, in my mind, it's important not to just think about keeping our bellies full. It is important that we are physically and mentally strong. And that requires good food, as well as, exercise. And I believe, a spiritual relationship with our creator. But on a physical level, if we're stashing those MREs or MRIs,
MREs. You'll need an MRI if you eat too many MREs. That's what will happen.
I'm familiar with them. I have a military son-in-law, and he has them stashed, but he actually together they stash good food. Freeze-dried food is wonderful. So instead of just stashing and hoarding, in some cases hoarding, food just to keep us from being hungry, we need to understand we need to really focus on food that keeps the body strong and that will help us to recover when, what if we're shot? What if we're hacked? What if all the terrible things the scenarios that we could go through, including the food supply shutting down, which we've already seen a few years ago. And I believe that the powers that be are absolutely toying with that right now with bird flu, with thousands and thousands of head of cattle. Right now, I'm working on a project for Weston A. Price that with the Texas Slim Foundation and the Beef Initiative. Texas Slim is this man's name who started these organizations, and he and I are talking. He's telling me all these stories. He's from Texas. He's a rancher, and he and others are talking about the U.S. government slaughtering, and I don't mean at a slaughterhouse turning it into meat, but slaughtering thousands of head of cattle and just disposing of them. Or how about the fact that we import nearly all of the beef produced in America, and we import from other countries 80%. I mean, that's stupid. It's stupid, except for it's by design. I understand it's by design.
Yeah. Well, look at out west now. We're seeing with the RFID chipping that they're trying to get pushed through. Have you heard about this, Joe? With the meat, the beef cattle,
no, I have not.
And livestock.
We have been fighting that for 20 years. It has come
20 years,
under different names. I have shown up along with many others to congressional meetings, on the Capitol steps. We've shown up at state agricultural program meetings. We've shown up at and written and called at a lot of agencies. This has been going on for 20 years, and they just keep repackaging it. And it's all about controlling the food supply. There is no other reason for it. You realize that if you have a sound local food supply, if I eat a burger or a steak that I've purchased from my farmer and I get sick, it's so easily traceable. As a matter of fact, years ago, I made some smoothies with raw eggs, and I fed them to my family, all but the two that were not at home at that moment. We got sick. Salmonella poisoning. I learned about salmonella poisoning that week. I knew exactly where the eggs came from. They weren't mine. I had bought some surplus eggs from a friend, and they were extras. He wasn't selling them in his store. And I realized after the fact, when your eggs have definite ridges and really clear bumps, that's probably salmonella poisoning. You might want to cook those before you eat them. But my point is, I knew exactly where the eggs came from. So there was no need for a major food recall because they came from this guy up the next town.
Right.
Raw milk, same thing. If there's actually something wrong, and it's always blamed. I can tell stories. I've been on farm raids. I've been to court hearings. I say and I have, but many of us have shown up to support our farmer friends. They come up with stupid stuff, accusations. They play all play all kinds of tricks, government agencies and bureaucrats, to try to shut down good quality food. But if somebody actually got sick, we would know exactly where it came from. It's not like we need RFID tags or chips.
Yeah, these tags that you guys check this stuff out. It's insane. Start looking it up. They're trying to put these into the cattle and livestock so that they can literally keep track, make sure that they've had whatever vaccines, whatever horrible stuff that they're going to pump these things, hormones. They literally will keep. They've talked about doing this in human bodies too. There's actually.
Yeah.
I was watching a documentary. It's been a year or two ago, but the lady had a chip implanted into her arm, and she thought it was so great because she could pay for her groceries by just waving her arm over the scanner, and she could check her blood pressure or her temperature, or all body vital the vital signs of the body, all from that chip monitoring in her. And we already have this with the smart technology, the smart watches. I mean, it does a lot of the same functions, but
Right.
now they're trying to put it into animals.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. So and there it is. Thanks for adding that. God's Good Table. Boom. Yeah, check that out right there. She did for real milk. Exactly. Man, we got a bunch of people in here. Kobe Mason, what's going on? One of my old customers from back in the transportation day. Also, let me shout out to Ezan, man. Ezan, I think he's in Thailand. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ezan, but I think he's over in Thailand. So he just woke up on the other side of the world. That's what he's saying there, who is with us right here live. That's awesome, man. Good to see you. Glad you stopped in. So Will had a good question here. What should we be eating? And for those of us who don't have farms or homestead, where can we get our food?
You need to find your local farmer. One of the things that Weston A. Price does very well is we have chapters all over the world. The U.S. is covered with them, but all over the world, in fact. The chapter's job, the entire purpose, is to find resources for food. And I also go a step further and say restaurants and practitioners, medical doctors, naturopaths, homeopaths, and that kind of thing. So we provide a resource list when people ask. So I'm in Virginia. I'm in the northwest of Virginia, and I have a resource list that I maintain that includes farmers for raw milk, for meat, for cheeses, for vegetables. We have a couple of doctors, practitioners, and again, like I said, restaurants. But we are constantly revising that list as we find more people, and sometimes we have to kick somebody off, not, feed supply. We even had it when I was up in Pennsylvania. I had a feed supply, a couple of people on that list as well. So we can really connect consumers with producers.
And guys, if you want to see someone that, AJ Richards. Did you meet AJ Richards there at Mountain Readiness, Maureen?
Probably if I saw his face, I probably.
All right. Well, guys, get on Instagram. Look up, it's a.j_Richards. And what he's got is From the Farm is the name of it. It is linking small and, independent homesteads together on an app. And you can use this right here. From the Farm, you put it on there. You can punch in on this and say, who's in my area that's selling, beef, to the public. And you can pull this up and you can find everybody in your area that's got this food, and bypass these huge corporations that are designed. I mean, let's be honest. Bill Gates owns, 40 million acres of the United States farmlands. Yeah. There's a reason for that.
Yep. China too.
Yeah. And there's also, you have, around 5 or 6, there's literally a handful of corporations that control the entire food system and market. Yep. I was looking at some of that just today. We were bouncing it around right here, and here let me pull this up here, guys, so you can see what we were talking about. Let me figure out how to run my my computer. Mm-hmm. Comments, brand, I don't know. There it is. So here's what I was doing, guys. General Mills is one of those huge corporations. You can look right here, ewg.org/food scores, products. These things are just these things are, it's a rating for General Mills. This is the cocoa monsters with marshmallows. You know, a bunch of kids eat this crap. It's all over the shelves at the store and everything like that. But guys, when you start looking into this, it is mind blowing. And we know that ingredients are horrible that are in a lot of this stuff. We know that sugar in itself is, let me pull it up on my end here too. We know that sugar in itself is toxic to the body. Processed sugar is. Your body can't break it down because of the way it's been processed. But to actually see the ratings and what they put in just this particular thing, there Maureen, Amber says hi. She's in her chicken robe.
I love that.
She's got her chicken robe on, but this product, look at this here. It says product score is based on weighted scores, nutrition. It's basically saying here, you can just check out all the ingredients. We're going to tell you exactly what it is. Tells you nutrition, tells you ingredient concerns. It says ingredient concerns. Algorithm focuses on factors such as likely presence of key contaminants, pesticides, hormones, and antibiotics, and health implications of certain food additives. So, I mean, they're literally just telling you on this site, and then you can go down and you can click on all the stuff that is in the ingredients. So,
environmental working group is wonderful for learning about all of this. The toxins in our food supply are horrific. And one thing to think about. You're okay. I'm 60. I'll just say it. I'm 60 years old. Actually, about to be 61. When I was young, I'm still young, but when I was really young, I only ever heard of a couple of people I knew having cancer. And not very many people were really dying of heart attacks and strokes. And you know what? There was not a single autistic kid in my school. And it's not because they didn't go to school or that they went somewhere else. We just didn't have it. There was one kid that had epilepsy, and I'm pretty sure that was from one of the vaccines that he got. Now kids are getting 76 or more by the time they're 18. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Everywhere we turn, it's toxin. And toxins, of course, we're all aware that toxins in our food supply cause cancer. They do. They cause cancer. In our air and our water, they cause cancer. But so do all of these other things, the glyphosate, the pesticides, the herbicides, the fungicides, the growth hormones, all of these things that are completely unnatural cause endocrine disruption, birth abnormalities, heart disease, brain dysfunction. All of the problems we're experiencing now, that's our food supply. That's probably at least 75 or 80%, at least our food supply. And I would say the rest is what we're injecting and what we're drinking and what we're breathing. And then
100%.
We just can't get around it. Nobody should be eating breakfast cereal. And I'm sorry if you do. I'm sorry. I'm not going to offend anyone.
I will. Sorry.
Don't eat. There really isn't a breakfast cereal that's actually okay. Because even the clean, organic, natural ones have been produced and processed through high heat and pressure that denatures the proteins and renders them harmful. I mean, eat eggs and eat oatmeal. We don't need cereal. American processed cheese is not cheese. American cheese is not cheese. It's chemicals. Stop it.
It is.
Yeah.
The oils, seed oils too. They're actually, guys, check this out. I mean, get on this website here. And I mean, you can Google anything. You don't even have to get on this website. Go to your cabinet and pull anything out of it and turn it over and start Googling the ingredients that are on the back there. And it is horrific. It is sickening to see. I mean, there is no doubt that, how do you even put this? People, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I read that the food industry, restaurants, high-end restaurants, actually did a study, and they would purposely. You ever notice how you go to a restaurant, they bring bread and rolls out to you?
Yep.
There was a study done that I read about. Joe, have you heard anything about this? About why the bread rolls and stuff are brought out to you before the dinner?
No,
So-
well, I don't know. Just get your appetite going, I guess. I don't know. Be honest.
It is because of all the crap that's in those rolls and the bread, your body instantly turns that to glucose. Bam, punch it in your system. Now all of a sudden, when you spike glucose, you get hungry and you want to eat, and you want to eat a whole lot. So it was the whole purpose. They did this huge study, and that was what was derived from it, was to get you to consume more food. They fed you breads and carbohydrates and, the sugars, turns the sugars, in order to spike glucose and to get you eating more food, consuming more while you're there at the restaurant.
Yeah.
There is a reason that there is more scientists that are employed by the food industry than any other institution in the entire world. It's the food industry. Scientists. We don't need scientists, but there's a reason that they're there, is to make this poison more appealing and taste better for us.
And the seed oils are the worst. They are absolutely amongst the worst.
Yes.
And the seed oils were never food. Olive oil, coconut oil, butter, lard, tallow, ghee.
Well, and what makes the seed oils the worst is, correct me if I'm wrong, but the seed oils, the production of when they produce soybean oil and canola oil and all these things, grapeseed, they cook this to extremely high temperatures to extract it. Is that not correct? And when they're pressing them,
one small part of it. That's actually not the worst part of it. It's multiple steps involving many chemicals, high pressure, and heat. And so you're taking something that was not ever intended for a food to begin with, and in order to make it a quote food, it is being put through as many as 14 industrial steps. I always say food should come from a farm, not a factory. The seed oils are coming through a factory. When you're buying a bottle of vegetable oil, canola oil, soybean oil, even if it's organic, it's sitting on that shelf. It's actually rancid, and you don't know it because it has also been bleached and deodorized.
That's it.
But it's actually rancid sitting on that shelf in that bottle. That's what's tearing up our arteries. That's what's causing damage to our blood vessels and our hearts. It's not all of the other things.
It's not natural. It's not natural. All the carcinogens. Yeah, look at how in the past 30 years, look how often you see, now all of a sudden you see children, young kids with cancer now. Like it used to, cancer started a while back and it gets worse and worse. Now all of a sudden you got little kids all over the place with cancer. You see it all over the place.
The answer is not more drugs. The answer is not more toxic cancer-causing drugs, nor radiation.
Absolutely.
So, that's a whole nother rabbit hole to delve down. I'll just say that you don't solve a problem caused by chemicals with more chemicals. They can, I mean, that's a whole nother topic. I'm very familiar with that. Helped my father.
Now, guys, I've been talking to a lot of people since we started Mountain Readiness, and I will tell you, health is number one priority in the times that we have that are coming. I believe, these hard times is going to be. You've got to be healthy. Okay, if you can get away from any type of medications that you may be able to get away from, I know some of them it's impossible, but if you can, this is the time to start doing that, because we're on our way to a rough spot in the world that your health is going to be important. And I was talking to Maureen. Maureen, and I've said this on here. I've lost in the past 2 months. I've lost over almost 40 pounds now. All I did was quit eating stuff from the store. Like, we started eating the chicken that we're processing. We started eating out of the garden. I didn't do anything different. I didn't increase my workout routine. I didn't, change my protein drink, nothing. Joe, you being a tier 1 guy, if I'm not mistaken, you had doctors, you had health guys, you had your own cooks and everything that rolled with you. Is that not correct? That's how it works with tier 1? Because health is so important for operations.
When I was in Ground Branch, we had when I was in Ground Branch, it's funny, I was just talking about this guy. We had a cook, we had a chef that was actually a gourmet chef at a New York, like a really high-end New York hotel, and he was contracted by the agency to cook our food. And we ate very, very well. It's, you're burning thousands and thousands of calories, doing that kind of work, and day after day after day. But yeah, they looked after us very, very well. I mean, it was a big deal. I mean, if you're not healthy, you can't operate. But I do have a question for Maureen that I'm very curious about, and I'm sure a lot of people do. What can we take that's natural to purge all this crap out of us? Is there anything that you know of that, like, hey, because we want to get rid of this stuff out of our bodies? Is there anything you recommend, Maureen, that really works?
There are a couple of things. Besides exercise, sweat, sauna, far infrared sauna. And then there are plants like parsley and cilantro. Food is medicine. Food should be medicine. And we need to detoxify every day. Fasting. We can fast once a week. We can fast once a month, a little longer. Even intermittent fasting every day helps. My dogs are driving me nuts right now. I'm just going to open the door and let them go out, even though one of them runs off. But cilantro and parsley, we're just going to go outside with them. They are natural detoxifiers. And then when you're beyond that, if you have something going on in your gut that's making you sick, the other thing you can do is charcoal, activated charcoal, and clay. Both of those things are good for getting rid of something that's just a temporary moving through your body. You got to get it out. But regularly eating things like parsley, cilantro, some people, I did a podcast or a show on our channel about 2 months ago with my friend Steve Campbell, and we talked a lot about regularly ingesting clay, like Redmond clay, to pull toxins out of the soft tissue to get rid of it. So we can do things like that. But exercise is always the first thing. Anytime you can heat up your body, like with a sauna, to get it out. And you can take, I used to take chlorophyll, liquid chlorophyll, and I would just take a spoonful in the morning, and especially when I'm fasting, because that goes far to get rid of toxins. It pulls toxins from your entire digestive tract, from your body. Massage when we are overloaded with toxins. Lymphatic drainage massage is very helpful. Oh man, there's just
well, and I tell you, that activated coal, a lot of people do not even know anything about that. I remember we used that as young kids. My mother was a herbal years dealer. She actually dealt in herbal years, and so the herb industry, that's when it was first kind of cutting its teeth on the market as a product, more than just picking it out of your garden. When it started becoming mainstream, and of course this has been 40 years ago. But the activated charcoal, the activated charcoal, we were just with the vet. We use this. We've got to get this for the goats. in case they get parasites. And it works the same in humans, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
A
it
lot
does.
of people don't even understand that they may be full of parasites. You know, if you eat enough of this garbage, you take enough of that
Sure.
garbage into your system, you know, that cleansing is necessary. You need to get that stuff out, and that's a great way to
But
start.
a caveat about that, though, Robert, is that many of the parasites are there doing the work for us. So we
Okay.
don't necessarily just want to get rid of all the parasites. We want to stop putting the toxins in, including the metals. We always talk about heavy metals, but there are soft metals.
Right.
There are, different weights, but mercury, aluminum is a big one.
Huge, bad.
Yeah, lead. If you guys are cooking your food on cast iron, you're probably ingesting too much lead. So some of the parasites that are in our bodies are actually there trying to get rid of. They're eating up the metals and some
Okay.
of the other
That's a great point.
toxins. So to get rid
Yeah.
of them is not such a great idea. Plus, when your body is eliminating them by whatever means, they will also be releasing the toxins that they've been consuming. So you want to be really
Yeah.
careful and really work with somebody who actually fully understands parasites, not just, oh, parasites are bad, we got to get rid of them. No, there's a reason that they're there. My friend Laura, oh man, she wrote an article for Weston A. Price, I think last year, and she spoke at our conference. So if you look at westonaprice.org, look up parasites and you'll find her articles, and you can learn so much from her and from others as well. But yeah, they're not really something to toy with unless you fully understand. If you know what parasites you might have, you can understand what they're trying to clean up in your body. So everything's there for a reason. We just need to understand and work with it appropriately.
That's great. That's a great point. And
Gotcha.
the first of this year, I wanted to really delve into the health real hard with my body. And I'm not a health expert, guys, by any means, not even close. Maureen, you want answers? Talk to Maureen. Get with her because she's done this for longer. She knows way more than I do. But there's one thing that I said to myself. I was like, look, how did my forefathers eat? Did it come in a plastic bag? No. Then don't eat it. You know, that's where I went these past couple months, because plastic, it breaks down. You're eating all those particulates. Aluminum, like Maureen said, it is in. Do you drink a lot of soda? Because you are taking all those chemicals and that aluminum into you. There's also a liner that is in that aluminum, petroleum based. That's horrible. Same as, by the way, yellow number 5, which is in all kinds of soft drinks, which is a petroleum-based chemical that you are taking into your body. Aluminum is in your toothpaste. I stopped using off-the-shelf toothpaste about a year ago now. I use baking soda, and I really like what Redmond has, their toothpaste. Because the toothpaste has, 4 ingredients in it versus 28?
Yep. And it actually does clean your teeth. You don't need fluoride. Fluoride does not save your teeth. That's a faulty study based on one population in, I believe, Texas, who had high fluoride intake because of metal processing in their area, I believe. Or maybe it was just inherent in their soil. I don't remember. But fluoride put into toothpaste and mouth rinses and dental preparations is a good way for the aluminum industry to get rid of their leftover toxin.
Right.
So,
which was the same thing with soybeans. Yeah, I remember during the early 1900s, soybean was grown and they were extracting soybean oil for the purpose of machinery lubrication.
Yep. Also,
And that's what it was used for, guys. And cottonseed. Yep.
Cottonseed was the original. Cottonseed oil was the original hydrogenated fat that was Crisco. That was came out in the 1880s, 85 or something like that. It was being used as a lubricant for machinery, and somebody got the bright idea that it would work as a replacement for butter and lard and tallow. Crisco stands for, oh gosh, I should know that off the top of my head. It's actually kind of clever, and I don't remember. But
and there is the television that once again plugged. You'll notice, guys, the food pyramid, it's all crap. It's all upside down. The bread and all this, fill yourself full of carbs. It is designed to make you consume more, to make you unhealthy, to sell drugs. That's what it's for. Same thing with all these foods. When Crisco came out, it was made in this great light. Oh, this is great. It's good for you. It's wonderful. You can leave it out on the counter. It's, use this, consume this. Same thing with cigarettes. I mean, cigarettes was healthy when it came out. Smoke cigarettes. It's good for your lungs. It's marketing to get you, the consumer, to consume more.
And of course, natural bread it's naturally leavened and made from clean, organic heritage grains, not the ones that have been hybridized. In the U.S., we do not have on the market yet genetically modified wheat. But the genetically modified wheat that has been tested, of course, cross-contaminates others. But besides that, glyphosate, which is one of the worst chemicals on the planet, is sprayed on the ground before the grain is planted. It's sprayed on the ground while the plant is growing. It's sprayed on the head of grain before harvesting because it's a desiccant also. And so it dries the grain out, and then you can harvest it all and be done. That doesn't wash off. That and all of the other chemicals that are used in the production of grain are horrific. They're endocrine I cannot talk today. Disruptors. They are carcinogens, and they do many other very deleterious things, including damage our guts. But natural clean grains that have not been genetically modified nor super hybridized to produce a grain that has an unnaturally high amount of gluten in it. When you take a natural grain like spelt, einkorn, emmer, durum semolina even, and you grow it without chemicals, and then you soak it or you sprout it or you ferment it as in sourdough, then you're actually getting a really, really wonderful bread, and you slather it with butter or you make grilled cheese with it or something, or you dip it in real olive oil. There's a problem
real olive oil.
Yeah, and there's an article that I wrote several months ago on our website about the truth in olive oil, because there's at least 70% of the olive oil market has been adulterated.
Right.
So you've got to pretty much know the label. But at any rate, bread can be very good for us, and it should be, and it's, after all, the staff of life. But many of us have so much gut damage from eating the other stuff and the pharmaceutical inputs and all of that we can't even tolerate good bread anymore. But we all should be able to. We can heal our guts, we can heal our bodies, and we can go back to it. But we need to be careful about the bread that we're consuming when we do consume it. The same with pasta and everything else as well.
Oh yeah. No, it's being done on purpose, guys. It's a given. And then you were talking about all the chemical from start to finish. On top of, if it is GMO, like the corn, Monsanto, it's impregnated with insecticides and pesticides built in, genetically modified in the seed. And now, thank you, Bill Gates and all those guys, for Organopeel for our vegetables and fruits that are now being sprayed with pure. If you guys look up Organopeel, the MSDS sheet, it is straight pesticide. And this is what they put on your food that's setting there to keep it looking fresh, even though it's actually, deteriorated and bad. It's just to make it more longevity on the shelf and probably to poison us. But we've ate up over an hour now. So
Oh, wow.
Maureen, lead us out of here. Yeah, look, an hour, just that quick. We're done.
Good
you can go down
conversation.
this. Yeah, we'll have to have you back and talk again because you've got so much information that is just insane. People need this information. Training is not just about what we do on a range. And by the way, guys, Maureen makes some amazing sourdough. I'm here to tell you. She also is hardcore because Maureen was actually at Troy's Gate with us. She's not just a pretty face. She can handle herself out there in the dangerous situations as well. So, but we've got to get you back and talk more about health because at the end of the day, you can train all you want to, but if your body is not healthy, that training is pointless, right, Joe? I mean, lead us out of here, Joe. What do you got to wrap us up?
Oh Lord, yeah, man, it's that triad. Talking about just fitness. It's not just working out; it's nutrition, rest and recovery, and exercise.
Yeah.
Right. It's a triad. It's not a one-off. You can work out 5 days a week, 2 hours a day, but if you're not resting, recuperating, and eating right, it's for naught. Or you could be eating right but not exercising. You've got to do it all, and that's that D word we always talk about: discipline.
Yeah.
You either have it or you don't. You either have it or you don't. And if you don't, look in the mirror, be honest with yourself. Like, hey, I'm out of shape. I'm not good, and do something about it. This is, you've got, access to people like Maureen. These people have got a wealth of knowledge that's out there. I mean, you just have to apply it. Bottom line.
Yeah, and as of right now, we have Google, right? Look at what you got in your cabinet and Google that stuff while it's still there. I don't know how long Google is going to last with the current situation of the world, but for now, it's it's right at your fingertips. Unlike Maureen was talking 40 years ago when she started the homesteading thing. So, what do you got? This flew by, Maureen. This hour did.
It did. It's fun. It's fun, but when I say that, I just love to talk about how we can help people. That's what I'm all about. That's why we started God's Good Table. That's why I've been so passionate about the Weston A. Price Foundation. I just feel passionate about helping people to understand how important it is to eat well, to exercise too. And that's something I'm working on again myself because I've spent way too much time sitting at my computer working, But I want to help people in the same way you want to help people learn other skills that are super important. And I loved my time at Troy's Gate, and I can't wait to do that again. But we have to start with, when we get up in the morning, what are we putting into our mouth? And then what are we doing? The first thing I put in my mouth is my Irish breakfast tea with fresh cream, by the way. But what are we doing once we walk away from the kitchen too? People need to get up off their butt, stop buying the processed food and going to McDonald's, and get serious about taking care of ourselves so that we can take care of each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, guys, we will do this again. Our time has come to a night. Real quick, Will Gomez, why are we getting seedless fruits, watermelon, etc.? Look up the book of Leviticus, Levitical dietary laws, seed that is not within itself. I'm going to leave that one up to you to look up, because seedless fruits and vegetables and stuff like that are literally dead food. You are just eating dead food because it's been genetically modified to be something that it wasn't originally designed to be. Hence, that nutrition is gone. But guys, come back next Monday. We will have Maureen back with us again. Maureen, thank you for being on with us. It was awesome. Always love talking with you. And of course, Fallout coming up. She's going to be doing all kinds of cool stuff. Guys, I will leave you with this quit focusing so much on your bug out bags and start focusing on your backyards, because those gardens and things like that, that's sustainable food is going to be more important than taking off down the road with your bag full of MREs, right? I'm not saying that you may not have to leave. Maybe you don't have a place, but most people have a little yard. There is planters. You can grow tomatoes. I mean, do what you can do with what you have at your availability. If it's just a little area, utilize that as much as possible. There's a lot of great stuff you can do out there, but start focusing on that sustainable food. And if you're stuck in the big cities and you're like, oh man, I can't grow a garden because I'm on floor 28 of this high rise, start looking to get out. I'm going to tell you, that's not where you want to be. This is, I don't know how much more time we have for you, but get outside of those city limits if you can. I preach all the time. I see everybody moving around us. I'm like, oh no, more people coming in. But at the end of the day, I know why, because the big cities, it's just not going to be the place. So start focusing on that backyard. Great to talk to you guys. Joe, thanks for being here. Maureen, you guys, same thing next Monday. And one of my favorite sayings is move with purpose. Move with purpose, folks. We'll see you next time.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye.
Bye, guys.